discrimination and promoting access and fair accountability across all spheres of life is one of the key roles of the Equal Opportunities Commission. Now, this commission has a legal right of investigating different cases. That is, if the subject matter, of course, falls into their purview within their given mandate as well as the act. It is very important. So we shall be understanding tonight on the front bench from the vice chairperson of the commission, that is Mr. Joel Cox Ojuko. We shall be understanding what they have done as a commission to ensure that there is equality as far as providing services to Ugandans is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the Vice Chairperson of the Commission, that is Mr. Ojuko Cox. You're most welcome on the show.
Thank you very much for inviting us to this talk show, and good evening, viewers. My name is Joel Cox Ojuko, and I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Equal Opportunities Commission.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joel Cox Ojuko. He is the Vice Chairperson of the Commission, but of course with him, there is also another beautiful lady who is one of the senior officers within the Commission. That is Miss Irene Nafungo. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. Like you indicated, my name is Irene Nafungo. I work for the Equal Opportunities Commission as a Principal Compliance Officer in the Department of Compliance and Enforcement. Thank you very much.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall be understanding very many other things from these officers, what they have done as a commission, but also understanding that they have a few challenges that they do face as they execute their mandate. So you can be part of this conversation using that hashtag, that is a UBC front bench, but also sending in your questions and comments on our WhatsApp number that will be appearing on your screens. For now, I am Jethro Kasaigi. Let's get started.
This is the front bench.
This is the front bench, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for keeping it UBC TV. I am Jethro Kasaigi, and of course on the bench tonight, I do have officers or officials from the EOC, that is Equal Opportunities Commission, but of course our focus tonight, we shall be looking at how they have managed discrimination and of course promoting fair access across sectors within Uganda. With me tonight, I do have the Vice Chairperson of the Commission, that is Mr. Joel Cox Ojuko, together with a senior officer within the Commission, that is Miss Irene Nafungo. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sparing time. First things first, Chairperson, as a commission, first paint for us a picture it is very important. We've hosted different commissions on the bench, but of course Ugandans need to first understand your mandate. Then we start and we dive into other sectors within, that is, as what you do, the commission.
Thank you very much, Jethro. Thanks again, UBC, for inviting us here to talk about the mandate of the Equal Opportunities Commission. Well, primarily, the mandate of our commission is to eliminate discrimination based on ethnicity, political affiliation, religious affiliation, and several other undesirable grounds. And so our core mandate is to eliminate discrimination based on such grounds that are spelled out in the Equal Opportunities Commission Act, and more specifically in the longer title of our law, namely the Equal Opportunities Commission Act. So if you go to our law, you will find all the grounds enumerated there that constitute discrimination. And this is why we exist as a commission. And it is a constitutional commission that arose out of a constitutional provision, Article 32 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, created this constitution. And perhaps if we go backwards a little bit, the issue of discrimination was widely discussed during the Constituent Assembly in 1994, and it was discovered that discrimination was a serious issue that needed to be addressed, and hence its incorporation into our Constitution, and later the Equal Opportunities Commission Act of 2007 that created the Commission and operationalized it.
All right. Chairperson, you talked, discrimination is taking center stage. And I do understand that the 1995 Constitution, of course, guarantees non-discrimination. Let's talk about the steps that government has taken to operationalize all these legal commitments at all levels of governance.
Thank you again. A lot has happened since 1995. First of all, we have the Commission, a fully fledged Equal Opportunities Commission, whose mandate is to eliminate discrimination in this country, as I've explained. Because of this, we have had to traverse this country to sensitize, first of all, the communities, to sensitize the different levels of our society on the dangers of discrimination and what should be done to avoid it. Again, several pieces of legislation have been made. For example, the Local Government Act itself contains certain elements on discrimination, forbidding discrimination. The Employment Act, for example, and several other legislations in this country now have come up to condemn discrimination and to incorporate equality. Gender equality has been emphasized. And so a lot has happened. Even the judiciary itself has increasingly handled cases of discrimination. Even at the constitutional court level, decisions have been made condemning discrimination. So you see, it has spread to all the arms of government. The Parliament itself has got the Equal Opportunities Committee of Parliament. There is the Gender and Social Development Committee of Parliament, and you can see all these are the arms of government that have seriously taken the issue of discrimination and therefore incorporating mainstreaming gender and equity in all their plans, activities, and programs.
Thank you. Principal Compliance Officer, kindly allow me abbreviate that to PCO, kindly, just for the show. The chairperson talked about the sensitization that you have done as a commission when it comes to laws. He has talked about the Local Government Act, the Employment Act. All these are there to fight discrimination within the country. Let's talk about what are these key gender and equity concerns that Uganda is currently faced with.
Thank you, Jethro. I want to start by saying that all the gender and equity concerns, we have had positive progress. However, as a commission, we are still concerned that they still exist, and therefore they give us work to do. One of them is the glaring regional imbalance in development. It's such a big challenge because sub-regions like Karamoja, while the development has improved in some areas, for instance, the poverty level in Kampala is about 1.1%. Karamoja is 76%. West Nile, Acholi sub-region, the Bukedi sub-regions, they are still stuck in that extreme poverty, characterized by high levels of gender-based violence, where we see women being battered, denied access to productive resources, sexual violence, emotional violence. We see youth unemployment and exclusion still persistent. For instance, we still have figures tell us it is about 13.3% that are unemployed. That is the unemployment level for the youth. However, we have about 42% of the younger people who are not in school, they're not in employment, and they're not in training. And yet we know that about 75% of our population is below the age of, is below the age of 30. So what does that mean? That there is a population that is just lost. They're not in school, they're not in training, they're not in employment. And that is an issue. The other is our social protection is still very low. The coverage is still very low. The formal protection, where we have like the aged being provided some stipend at the end of the month by government, medical insurance by the private providers, and any other form is just about 3.1% of those that need it. And so when you put all this together, you realize that there's a certain segment of our family, human family in Uganda, that is lagging behind. And so it's a very big concern, among others. And so we see maternal mortality, while the figures have improved from about 300 some years back to about 189 now, dying in childbirth out of 100,000. The figure is still high. The international the international community put it at 70, at least 70 women should die as a way of measuring improvement. As Uganda, we are almost 2.5 times. So we still have challenges of discrimination and marginalization. We have communities that do not have access to sufficient services. Communities like islands. There's a community in Mayuge that we visited, and there's no secondary school. So children on that island will stop in primary school and don't have a lot of opportunities to join secondary. We see people from mountainous places, ethnic minorities in this country, they still don't have access to the bare minimum of services that ordinarily another Ugandan may have. We see rural poverty. 33% of the people are still in subsistence economy. That's quite high. So when you look at this put together, the battle to discrimination fight is really, really still a big challenge.
Well, Pizio, you're doing something to fight the discrimination you're talking about. If you're to rate yourself as a commission percentage-wise, amidst the challenges that you do face as well as you execute your mandate, how far have you gone to fight this? Because I do understand as a commission, you're not seated. You're doing whatever it takes to fight, to eliminate discrimination?
I think I should say each factor is measured on its own. And for instance, the Vice spoke about poverty levels. By the time the Constitution was made in 1995, almost 50% of the population was below the poverty line. Today, we have 16.1%. That's an improvement, but still 16.1% is still part of the human family. It's still a part of us. That's about 5.5 million people are still living below $1 a day. And yet they will require services. They're not contributing effectively to the GDP, but at the same time, they require all the other services like anyone of the other community members in Uganda. So it's still a challenge. I talked about maternal mortality. It's still high. If you still have a whole taxi dying per day, you wouldn't want to say it's just a smaller number. It's big because behind that are other effects, the ripple effect, the orphans that are being created that you see on the street. So it's not one figure that I could give you. I want to tell you that each one of these facets has to be tackled differently. But overall, the poverty, the culture, the geography, the disability, these are the factors that are behind all this. And how we plan and budget, all these are the factors that contribute to the inequalities that you see, and we tackle them that way.
Chair, PCO has talked about the regional imbalance, the gender-based violence, the population that is lost in one way or another. These are all factors that at times trigger a discrimination. Now, Ugandans want to understand your role as a commission, as EOC, in addressing these imbalances and promoting equal opportunities in the country.
Yeah, thank you again. Indeed, as you have correctly put it, we try to redress these imbalances in compliance with our own mandate. And how do we do it? There are several ways by which we seek to eliminate discrimination in this country. First of all, as possibly I will talk about it later on, the complaint handling of these complaints. There are other avenues that we take, as I said, for example, through the sensitization of the communities. We have, for example, the budget. I mean, the government of Uganda runs on budgets. We have the 2015 Public Finance Management Act that has empowered the Commission, to assess programs of government, to assess government budgets and plans, both at the central and the local government levels, to ensure that gender and equity are incorporated. In other words, all sections of society are catered for. I mean, how is the population accessing, for example, health services? How is the population accessing education and other social services, agriculture, and so forth? So all the programs that are available to the citizens by the government must be equitably accessed by the entire population. And that is how we come in to ensure that the budget is sensitive to gender and equity. The older persons are taken care of. Irene talked about social protection. The women, the girl child, the disabled persons. How do they access services? For example, how do they access justice in the law courts? Are the buildings compliant with the law? Are the disabled persons able to climb up to the second floor using a lift or ramps? Is it possible that they can climb these steps, for example? So these are the areas that we try to see in equalizing opportunities for all, so that there's fairness to all sections of our society. And that's how we do it stage by stage, sector by sector, by analyzing the gender inequity issues in all these sectors. The infrastructure sector, for example. How large are the roads? Is it possible that pregnant women trying to go for antenatal care are able to walk along these roads and access health facilities? Is it possible that the poor child in the rural area of Karamoja, is it possible that this child is able to access education at a cost that is fair enough for all of them to afford? So we try to fight with social equilibrium and ensure that equality is achieved to a large extent. It may not be 100%, but we try by and by to ensure that there is a level equality for all.
Chair, talking about sensitization, for example, our government has come up with different programs. Recently, PDM, Myoga, and very many other. You've talked about infrastructure. How do you ensure that the sensitization really gets to that last wananchi who is in the village to ensure that they come on board to benefit in such given programs?
Yes, well, as I said, we traverse the country. We know these are all government programs that are ongoing. And so we follow up these programs on the spot to see how it is being done. Is equity being practiced? Is everybody, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of physical status,
gender,
regardless of ethnicity, I mean, is everybody accessing, as indeed it is intended by government, that it should be beneficial to the entire population? And so on our own, we do our own inspection and we do our own audit of the entire program. And then at the end, we come up with the program, rather with a report to illustrate how exactly this has benefited the people the program is made for. And again, sometimes we get complaints from the beneficiaries themselves who have suffered discrimination one way or the other. And we handle it using our tribunal processes. We investigate. And where necessary, we reconcile parties. Even before having to go into full-time hearing, we reconcile and make sure that the right processes are followed and equality is achieved for all. So
0709602592 is our WhatsApp number. Send in your questions regarding EOC. Chair, before I cross to PCO, let's talk about some of the achievements that you've achieved as a commission.
I think as a commission we have achieved a lot. Since it was established more than 10 years ago, we have been making annual reports on the state of equal opportunities in this country. And as I said, we've carried out extensive research into issues of discrimination in this country. We have interfaced with marginalized groups, marginalized ethnic groups like, for example, the Batwa in Western Uganda, Lendu, the Kebo in Northern Uganda, the Ik in Karamoja, and several others that we have interfaced with. And we have ensured that all these special groups, special class, have had a share of what is due to them, whether at the level of governance, for example, in the local government, represented on the different councils. They are also free to seek employment at the local government level and also at the national level. So in this way, all sectors, all sections of our society have somehow been incorporated with minimal discrimination. So that, to that extent, I think the Equal Opportunities Commission has done enough, and we are still continuing to promote equality, equal access to government programs, And by the way, we also ensure that the private sector and even the civil society organizations are compliant with equal opportunities tenets. We don't only stop with public offices, we are everywhere. The private sector, the civil society, government. So we ensure that everybody living within the borders of this country is compliant with equal opportunities tenets.
All right, PCO, before you go for that short commercial break, the chair talked about budgeting. And through that budgeting, that is where you put into consideration the older persons, the disabled, women, the youths, I mean, all categories of people. And you say that EOC, one of your roles is to promote gender and equity when it comes to planning and budgeting. How does the national budget, that is of the financial year 2025-2026, reflect commitments to gender and, of course, equity planning and budgeting?
Okay, thank you, Jethro. Like my vice mentioned, one of the roles of the Commission is to ensure that the national resources are equitably distributed to benefit all, including those that are marginalized. And the Public Finance Management Act of 2015 gives us that mandate to advise government as to whether or not the national budget and the vote specific budgets are compliant or not. And we do that by assessing for compliance and then advise that they issue the certificate of compliance before they actually proceed to Parliament for appropriation. In the general overview of the budget that we are now running starting July 1st, the budget increased minimally, but it was increased to 72.3 trillion. The positive aspect about it is it was largely pro-poor in its outlook. That is in terms of its expenditure. In terms of its the side of income, because we must get the money before we can spend it on the various programs. The positive bit, if I may start with it, is that it has significant pro-poor allocations of about 7 trillion shillings to the various, for instance, PDM has 1.1 trillion, and we know that PDM is a game changer. If we are talking about the subsistence economy, if we are talking about the 16% who are still in poverty, if we are talking about social protection itself, if you empowered the judge with a PDM to do the goat rearing, you're actually turning around, because we know that the older persons, about 48% of them live in poverty. This PDM at that household level can turn that around. So to us as a commission, 1.1 trillion was very, very significant. And remember, this is a top-up of what is already happening. Within there, we have about 230 billion given to a project for women. It's called GROW. These are formalized businesses for women who may not benefit much from the PDM of about 1 million shillings per person or per household. That is for enterprise development for women. We have about 3 billion for the Jua Kali. These are the young people in metal works, in shoemaking, you know, the Jua Kali. I think Jua Kali is like they work in the open and there's sunshine, but they are boosted with about 3 billion shillings. We have a Myoga. So that is direct money into the private businesses at that level. We also have the other monies through the UDB for the people who are formal and they can access larger money so they can do business and then create employment, provide services, goods and services, for us as a commission, we actually rated this budget at 61% compliance rate. The other good aspect about this budget is that it's focusing on employment through what we call the ATMs, agro-industrialization, tourism, technology, and manufacturing. Those sectors are meant to create about 17,500 jobs directly, and then indirect about 40,000. So if the government is this deliberate, it means it is tackling the issues that I already mentioned earlier, especially that of unemployment. And it's reducing on the borrowing, because we already have a problem with the debt. So we are doing domestic resource mobilization. It has the pro and the con of it, but largely it's a good thing that we try to expand our tax base, because there are so many people in this country who don't pay tax.
Okay.
And as those who pay tax, they actually pay heavily. That's the unfortunate bit.
All right, PCO, I do understand you still have a lot to say, but before we go for that commercial break, you return actually and expand more on that. Okay. Someone, Godfrey from Kampala, is asking, we have a family land, which part of it is being sold illegally by a few of our cousins, leaving out the majority. How do we get the land back to the family and make a better use of it as a family? How can the commission help us on that? They will answer. Jethro, I just want to thank Mr. Joe Cox and Mrs. Irene for the work well done. This is Ronald Kakande from Rubaga. What contributions have they done about fighting corruption? We shall be back with more of your questions. The front bench continues. Allow me to take a very short commercial break.
Fellow countrymen and women, these are our ministers and permanent secretaries at the front bench, representing the various ministries and answering the questions that matter to us. Join the conversation. This is the front bench.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the rider selection campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes, including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
From the day your child is born, you want to protect them. You want to protect them from the harm you know and the things your eyes can see. Protect them from falls when they are playing and as they are learning the world. But what protects them from the things your eyes can't see? Diseases attacking their bodies. Immunization from as early as birth, 6 weeks, 10, 14 weeks, to 9 and 18 months, and malaria starting at 6, 7, 8 to 18 months protects children from diseases, giving them the foundation they need to grow stronger and healthier.
Parents and caregivers, remember to immunize your children 9 times from birth to 18 months to protect them against vaccine-preventable diseases such as measles, rubella, polio, pneumonia, hepatitis B, tuberculosis, tetanus, meningitis, yellow fever, diarrhea, whooping cough, diphtheria, and malaria. All vaccines used for immunization are safe, effective, and free. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, WHO, and partners.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Fellow countrymen and women, these are our ministers and permanent secretaries at the front bench, representing the various ministries and answering the questions that matter to us. Join the conversation. This is the front bench.
This is the front bench. 0709602592 is our WhatsApp number. Before I went for that break, one Godfrey from Kampala was asking, they have a family land, chairperson, this comes to you. They have a family land. It is being sold illegally by a few of their cousins leaving out the majority. How do they get the land back to the family and make a better use of it as a family? How can the commission help them on that, Chair?
Thank you very much, Jethro. Yeah, the issue of land is a very sensitive one, and it is so rampant. We have received several complaints about land disputes, and we have handled them accordingly. Now, in this particular case, if the land is being sold illegally, I don't know what exactly it means. The question is, does it have the effect of marginalizing him as the complainant? Is there some element of discrimination? Yes. If so, we are available to assist him. But if it is an outright illegality, then we may have to refer him to a court of law. If there are some criminal elements, we would have still to go to the police, and then he can move it forward from there. But otherwise, we are there to handle all elements of discrimination and marginalization that he might be suffering, if there are any.
Okay, one Anthem Akampurida asking what contributions you've done in fighting corruption. Another one, Markland, says money is available, but corruption. I don't know what you can say about that, Chair.
Briefly, Jethro, corruption, of course, is a vice. It's a criminal offense, and I would advise the complainant to go directly to the police or to the office of the IGG to make a formal complaint, and then they will carry out relevant investigations. But again, if that corruption takes him to the edge, marginalizes him, brings deprivation for him, then he can come over to us and we investigate that very element and come up with a solution and a remedy for him.
All right. PCO, by the time we went for that break, you were still analyzing how you go about the budgeting process in regard with equality when it comes to planning as well. But also kindly share with us some of the challenges that you do face in that inclusive planning, budgeting and implementation as a measure of addressing the gender and equity gaps. Okay.
Thank you very much. I was giving the global view of the entire budget. Yeah. And I wanted to mention that there's a very good aspect about our current budget compared to the previous, is an aspect of some substantial amount of money given to actually clear domestic areas. You know, the business community does business with the government, and in a way, sometimes there are delays in payment, and that holds back their capital. They can't expand, they can't pay off their loans and all that. This time round, the government is very, very deliberate. About 1.4 trillion has been put aside to clear domestic areas. To us, from the gender and equity perspective, we know that once the business receives all their money, they'll be able to expand, they create employment, they buy goods and services from the local person, and then continue, money is back into the economy, and it will be addressing some of the things that I already mentioned that affect the common person. So it's a plus. There's also substantial amount of money, about 26% of the budget has gone to what we call human capital development, health, education, which has skilling of the youth, which has a bit of social protection under human capital development, and ensuring that the health centers that were upgraded are functionalized. The city schools are functionalized by getting the teachers in there, the equipment and all that. So we found that a very gender and equity responsive intervention. On the flip side, however, this budget there was a reduction in terms of funding to the local governments. The local governments have been receiving much lower than the target was, which is about 30%. But this time, it went lower by about 400 billion. It's really, really an issue to us as a commission in terms of ensuring that the people receive services. Basic services are provided at the local government level. Agriculture extension, follow-up of things like PDM. You need people on the motorcycle to follow up and offer the direct services, the advisory services to people who are doing the agriculture. That cannot happen when the budget is small. The education, the inspection for the primary school teachers to make sure they are teaching and all that. So that reduction is really, really an issue we've highlighted. We think that it should have been the other way around. There should have been an increment. Then definitely the huge budget, the huge debt, it takes away all the money, because we as a country have to pay back both the principal but also the interest, both for the domestic monies that are borrowed but also the money that is borrowed from outside. It's a bit big, and it reduces the money available for the basic services that are consumed by the vulnerable people, like healthcare, education, justice, and all that. So that's why we're saying it's at around 60%. While it has the positive, it also has those areas that we think, if addressed, our budget could have been much more inclusive.
Okay.
So in terms of challenges of implementing this gender and equity planning and budgeting as a strategy for promoting equal opportunities and our resource allocation and also resource mobilization is, can I say, the lack of awareness by the duty bearers. Some entities, yes, we've done a lot of face-to-face trainings, we've provided the guidelines, but someone will still tell you that, okay, if I'm in the Ministry of Agriculture, what is gender about it? If I'm doing roads, what's gender and equity about it? So there is still a capacity gap. We also see a lack of meaningful participation in the planning and budgeting, especially by the marginalized and vulnerable people. So the inclusion of their issues in the budget are still on the periphery because they are not participating. Yet, our planning and budgeting processes in this country are highly participatory. That's why I underline the word meaningful. Who is doing the representation, if it is through representation? We start actually at the village level, parish level, sub-county level, district level, and then we do the national. But you still find that some of the issues are not included. We are still grappling with, I want to call it poverty. The economists call it fiscal space. With the money available is not enough to address the challenges that we are facing. And that is for a fact. So there's so many priorities. We have security, we have health, we have education, we have roads. I mean, at the end of that day, we do bits of everything. So meaningful development and allocations cannot happen because the money available is not enough. And those are some of the challenges.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, PCO. Some questions, Chair, coming in. I have George William Lachor from Gulu City. Good evening. May I know if the Commission handles issues across all sectors in the government and non-government organizations as well? Thank you. That is George William from Gulu. Hello, EOC. Why do you allow government to promote Principal Assistant Secretary local governments to DCAO whilst keeping UI scale, and yet you're fighting discrimination? I don't know if that is in your docket. Hey, thank you for the show. My father died and all my clan, and the stepmother sold our plot in the town without our notice. And when we went there, they arrested us and fined us 2 million shillings. How can I be helped? This is a gentleman from Bukwo. Acha, could you kindly tackle some of those?
You are so fast, though. You are so fast. Can take one by one.
All right, fine. George William from Lacho asked, may he know if the Commission handles issues across all sectors in the government and non-government organizations?
Oh, sure, yes, we do.
Okay.
The Commission, as I said earlier on, has got a very wide mandate, touching the private sector, the public sector, the civil society organizations, cultural institutions, religious institutions, all those come under our purview. So if there's anything to do with discrimination, regardless of where it originates from, we are here to handle it.
Okay.
It's within our mandate.
Abaho James is saying equality will never happen because of corruption. Is that really possible? I don't know. Good evening, Commissioners. I appreciate the efforts of EOC on gender. What does the Commission say about the current salary enhancement disparities? Chair, is that also in your office?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, salary disparity is something that we've been handling for the last 10 years or so. And I think we are making progress. We have received petitions, for example, more recently from the Teachers Union on disparity of salary between the science and the arts teachers, which we are addressing. We are yet to come up with a final outcome. But I'm also aware that the Ministry of Public Service is working on that, is bridging the gaps. So it is work in progress, and it is not something that can be achieved overnight, but certainly something positive is coming out.
All right. Another one asking Andrew from Mbale, he says, I've been denied certain jobs because of his religion, being an SDA. Yeah? I don't work on Saturday. Some banks have refused to hire me because of such. How can I be helped from such discrimination?
Well, you can make a formal complaint
Okay.
to the Equal Opportunities Commission offices, or you can go to the nearest government office and make a complaint, which eventually will reach to our office, and we handle it accordingly.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Simon Ingari, living and married in Uganda for 22 years now. I think he is a Kenyan, yeah? What do they have to say about Kenyans who are told a work permit is free, but when they apply for jobs, they are told they don't qualify under certain criteria, yet they are told it's free? What then limit issuance in Kenya? Any Ugandan applies for it and given without any condition. Even in Rwanda, is the equal opportunities in the tone of regional cooperation?
Yeah, well, I know for sure we are all East Africans, but terms and conditions of employment are always brought out in the adverts. So if it is a question of nationality, that is something that can be addressed by the employer based on the terms and conditions contained in the job advert. Yeah, it's not, I think, about nationality as such, but about terms and conditions of the employment.
Okay. Banu Hashim from Gulu, I think yours was answered. He says he's a teacher dealing with salary discrimination. This is in Gulu City. I think that was tackled. Okay, I have someone from Kamuli, Claire Nambiro. This is Claire. My father-in-law has been arrested by some of his relatives claiming not to have court money after selling off the land, and yet all the evidence gathered all proves that having got the money, but because they are bribing official workers, my dad is still detained and behind bars. What can he do? Sorry, what can she do? PCO, would you really say something about that? Okay. Someone is asking, hello, thanks for the program. I'm Pauline from Bale. Kindly can EOC give me that opportunity to work with them? Someone is asking for a job. Well, Chair, our time is fast spent. I do understand you do have a lot for us as Ugandans within the Commission. Your last remarks.
Thank you much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We have had a very good discussion. And as you know, my dear brothers and sisters, discrimination is real. And that is why the Equal Opportunities Commission exists, to try to eliminate it. It is a vice that we must all fight. It is a monster that is destructive to you and me and all of us. And so I call upon everybody, every Ugandan, to come up and fight this vice by, first of all, avoiding it or reporting it to the right institution like the EOC, so that by and by we eliminate it. On our part as a commission, we are trying our very best to handle the complaints brought to us touching discrimination. We are all looking at this national cake that we must access. There are several services and programs that the government has for all of us. But once the element of discrimination and inequality comes in, then it is very likely that some people will be left out. There will be no inclusion, and yet we are fighting for total inclusion for all of us. And so the issue of discrimination is a big one. It is ongoing, and it is something that all of us must be alive to, so that together we can wipe it out. It may not take one day, it may not take 2 days, but by and by, if we have the will to fight it out, we should be able to succeed. We are there for you as a commission, and we shall always receive your complaints, and we shall discuss these issues increasingly, persistently, so that we come up with the positive results that we desire as a people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chairperson of the EOC Equal Opportunities Commission, that is Mr. Joel Cox-Ojiko, together with Ms. Irene Nafungo, who is the Principal Compliance Officer within the Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, like the Chair stated it is very important. This gets back to us as all Ugandans to ensure that we fight this vice. Just like Uganda, all our leaders have always called us upon to fight corruption. So as we fight that vice of corruption, we also have to fight this vice of discrimination. The Chair has said it cannot be eliminated within 1 day, neither a week nor a month. But as Ugandans, this can be fought once we all get together. I am Jethro Kasaigi. Those who have sent in your questions and comments, I thank you so much for being part of the show from me and the entire team. It's a good night.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in